Well, we're just moments away from the much awaited kickoff, and we're underway. It is Agniputhra kicking off from the left to right of your screen in all orange. The defending champions need this victory. We're past the halfway point. They are in desperate need of wins and points right now. Nothing else matters to them. Passing the ball around the back. It is Kickstart attacking from right to left of your screen in all green. Sitting second, a couple of games behind the league leaders, FC Bengaluru United, of course. There goes the first cross into the box. Repelled away. A couple of injury hit absences there in the lineup. Monish missing out for Kickstart FC. The attack is curtailed there. And here we go. First attack for Agniputhra down the right wing, riding down, looking for options in the middle, tries to find a cutback. What a solid tackle that is. Judged it to perfection. And then he had to intervene there to get nothing but the ball. Good defending. And now one more chance. He fails to control the ball. Well, there are opportunities coming early on for both sides, especially for Agniputhra. You have to say they are taking the initiative. Well, I just told you that they do not have a luxury of sitting back today. They will come out with all guns blazing. Slowly on the build up. Kickstart now. Look at the lack of pressure. They'll take all the time in the world. And I am surprised. Plenty of time for the midfielder to pick his pass. Place it well towards the right flank. Winger giving his all to keep it in, even sends a successful cross, but the centre back dominates his area. On the break again, Agniputhra slips it towards the left wing. That's a loose touch, you have to say, and there was the possession. A tame end to what looked like a missing attack. Winning the ball back quickly though, Agniputhra. Now over the top, the goalkeeper decisively comes out. That is the experience of Kabir Tawfiq in full swing. How well did he judge it there? Absolutely gets it right because there was zero margin for error. He could have been red carded, mind you, had he taken out the striker who was rushing onto him. Well done there, Kabir. A couple of alarm bells ringing for Kickstart. Not smooth sailings, though, is it, when you play the defending champions, the two-time champs of the Super Division Football League. Kickstart trying to kickstart their attacks from the center towards the right now. Headed towards the middle. Down the other end at the KSFA Stadium, let me welcome you back to this exciting contest between Kickstart and Agniputhra. A lot on the line for Agniputhra this season. They are going to play in the I League 3, courtesy of winning the Super Division in the 24-25 season. Their performances thus far haven't been satisfying, haven't been up to the mark, you have to say. For someone of their high standards, only 2 wins in 9 games will certainly demand some answers, and the coach had to pay a huge price for it. Samuel Sylvester, with a lot of pedigree, with an experience of coaching in the I League 2, was hired. He will now lead his side into the I League 3 as well when it starts this season. And now a chance for Kickstart. Well blocked, but there is a rebound to be taken, and that is a glaring miss. That is a better opportunity for Kickstart, the clearest sight of goal we've had in the game so far. I think he just failed to calm down there. He had time, he was not being closed down, went for power instead of placement. The top corner was right there, begging to be put away, but the striker just ran his laces through the ball, put so much power into it there. Now that is a stellar ball. I don't think that was his intention to find out the striker. A bit lax on the ball there. Kickstart, inviting some trouble onto themselves. Well, after giving all the time in the world early on to not press Kickstart, this is some start from Agniputhra. They're starting to time their presses, putting pressure on the opposition. That is some lovely football to get away from pressure. Searching ball towards the left flank. Will eventually find its way. Facing the fullback 1v1. He goes down, but that was a clean tackle, says the referee. As Kickstart will move the other way swiftly. There's a solid tempo to the game. Both sides not afraid to give it their all. Moving from end to end swiftly. But once again, Agniputhra walk away with the ball. The Warriors try to pierce the defense. The fullback has it covered, preventing the winger from getting on to the goal side, and wins a goal kick for his side. That is the basics. He has nailed his basics. You never allow your winger to get on the goal side. Well, sometimes there is a lot of pressure, and sometimes Kickstart players are having plenty of time to find their passes, but there will be one turnover. Tries to slice through the defense, too much power on it, all the way to Kabir, who already made a great intervention. Ball over the top. He absolutely had to get there. Trying to hook it towards Rakesh. Well fetched by the winger. Onto the left flank now. Chops it towards the middle. The goalkeeper will claim it. That caused some trouble in Agniputra box, but they are unhurt as of now. A bit of calmness needed there. Did the defender close it down? Yes, says the referee, as we have a first corner of the day. And in swinging corner, this is going to be some inspiration from set pieces. The defender got his head onto it, but that was just off target. Well, it did strike a green shirt, it seems. One more corner to Agniputhra. Well, you have to ask questions of the defense. It was so easy for an orange shirt to climb there and get a header away. Must be better. This time, left footed delivery. They're hell bent on taking in swingers. Once again, this is a much better delivery towards the far post. Will be kept alive. A shot on target. That will be easy for the goalkeeper. He will not be bothered with it though. That was a careless pass. I think you can see the centre backs are acting as the last line by even sending the fullbacks higher up the pitch. If Agniputhra can time the turnovers, it will be a 3v2, you can say, because the fullbacks are standing in a staggered line, much in front of the defensive cover. Agniputhra are ready to break at will if they get one lucky ball their way. That lobbed one will not help their cause though, as Kabir gets his hands on it. That was a lovely find and an overhead clearance. Not your everyday sight, I must say. Once the centre back got his head on it, his defensive partner helping him to steer the ball further away from pressure. Shot from distance, a comfortable height for Sam George. He will claim it. Kickstart slowly finding their momentum. Agniputhra have had a better start, no doubt, but it all counts for naught as the scoreline still reads 0-0. All it takes is one good attack from Kickstart to go ahead, and they have a free kick now. No need to concede fouls so early in the game out of frustration. The captain, Karthik Govindswamy, organizing his troops, but he will not be standing over this free kick. Watch out for a late run, though. There goes the chip ball into the box. A flick on header, not the best in the world. He was supposed to help it towards the goal, but not away from it. Acts as a defensive header for the opposition. Sam George just now forced into making his first save. It was at a comfortable height, a throat height for him. Went for a clean catch instead of parry or a push. Support arriving for him on the far side. Well, there was miscommunication for a moment as Agniputhra nearly lost out on the ball, but here they are trying to search for options. That's a slaloming run. Try to slip in the right winger, but he just cannot find the right weight of the pass. Kickstart can go the other way now. Well, the referee spotting some infringement. Not happy with something he saw towards the other side. It will be a free kick, which the skipper Karthik Govindswamy takes. Well, that man is a leader, leading Karnataka to their first Santosh Trophy win after decades of wait. And he was the man who lifted the title with Agniputhra last season. Hit the switch to enjoy the riches with Kickstart now. That's a desperate slide tackle, but somehow ends up winning the ball. Here is Crispin. And speaking of hitting the switches, Crispin, who donned the Kickstart FC jersey last season, also crossed the divide to join Agniputhra. Here he is trying to cause some chaos. Gets the better of the fullback, sits him down. Can he find the right cross? It's too much power on it, but it is alive from the left flank and the defender gets it away. Fantastic attack from Agniputhra. It all started with a smart pass from Crispin Cletus, and the attack sparked to life just like that. First from the right side, where a heavy cutback was kept alive on the left, and the cross was headed beyond. Looks like an injury in the middle of the pitch for Kickstart. That has caught referee's attention. It does look like the final touch came off an orange shirt as Kickstart resume with a goal kick. Both keepers firmly called into action as we approach the end of the first quarter. But still, here we are, deadlocked. Here's the skipper waiting for options. It is a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1, you can say. Standard midfield pivot. There is the expansive switch to the right flank, cutting onto his left boot. But the defender outsmarts him to run away with possession. Agniputhra centre backs passing it amongst themselves before going down the line. Here is Crispin. Enjoyed getting the better of his ex-teammates, but on this occasion almost concedes a foul, but will win a throw in right at the very end there. I think there is some storm brewing between the players. There is certain animosity. The referee had to jog all the way there to make peace. But now a crossing opportunity. Well closed down by the defender. Under pressure, fires it down the line. Kickstart, a chance to break. That's a lovely touch. He does not have any options, although a late run is arriving from the right flank. Cannot keep it in check though. Agniputhra. That looked like a good challenge, but the referee certainly spotted the infringement. He is not happy with John Peters' tackle. It will be a free kick to the Warriors. Well, they are taking it short, no risks. And the chance of finding a reward with that was very little as well, as the move breaks down for absolutely no reason. Agniputhra have to probe the defense all over again. The idea was right to test the defense, to ask the striker to make the run inside the channel, but hits it with a lot of power. Sean Peter moving out with the possession. That's a fine line breaker from him. But Kickstart cannot keep hold of the ball. Played towards the left. A heavy touch. Allows defender to close down the gap. Forced towards the skipper again. Abiang now. Showing silky feet. Can he cross? But an excellent sliding tackle prevents him from getting something into the box there. Sends a grass cutter. Here's still a chance to get another cross in towards the edge of the box. Headed clear. Now trying to be cheeky and play a couple of 1-2s to break down the defense, but the orange shirts outnumber the greener ones. That's a fantastic diagonal, you have to say. It will be even exquisite if the winger can keep it in. He does fetch it in. Sends it into the box. Twisting and turning, the cross hits the outside of the side netting. Is always going to be off balance, chasing the ball in that sort of region. Well, you have to ask the question, are Kickstart FC missing Monish? They're leading playmaker, 7 assists to his name, alongside his 1 goal. Going all the way back to the goalkeeper. A shot on target, and that is a fantastic. That's a bolt out of the blue. Well, it was so casual that literally came out of nothing. The defense relaxed. They thought that the danger was gone, but no. All it took was one swing of the magical left foot from Kickstart to open the scoring. What a beautiful effort that is. Arrowed it into the absolute top bins. Sam George at full stretch was no match to the effort. Kickstart FC continuing their good form. Get one over the defending champions. Agniputra's woes only deepened. Well, that is what tends to happen when you make a good start but do not take advantage of it. Kickstart did send some alarm bells, but finally there comes the killer blow. What a beautiful hit that was. Now it's all about retaliation. Do they have enough in the tank? They have scored 12 goals in 9 games. They have conceded 14 goals so far, including this one. A negative goal difference from the defending champions, and it could get worse. Slides in onto his right foot, finds a man on the edge of the box. Well closed down. You have to credit the defense. But once again, they cannot clear the first ball and think that the danger has gone away. You are literally seeing what Kickstart FC are capable of. Firing thunderbolts from outside the box. That's an awkward deflection. Agniputhra are rattled. Samuel Sylvester's men. They must maintain their calm now. They cannot go one more goal beyond in this contest. I think they have nailed their tactics to perfection today. Not giving a moment's peace to Agniputra's midfield to play those sneaky little forward passes. They're forcing the opposition to go long, and that is what happens when you constantly try to go long. Crispin cuts a figure of frustration down the right. He wanted it to his feet, completely gets an aerial. That was probably out of everyone's league. Well, do you think Crispin would be questioning his choices after that ambitious switch? Taking a beating against his former side, at least inside the opening 20 minutes, he will be hoping to get something back. Headed clear kickstart, maintaining possession. Well, they have taken the lead certainly, but it's not in the circumstances they would have loved to. They're not controlling the game yet. It's being played at a nice tempo, end to end. A chance for Agniputra to ask some questions. Here is Jitu. Cuts inside, trying to provide an extra body in the middle of the park. Well, I think that should be better. That is lazy there. The communication has to be there. The midfielder spotted space on the right side. Crispin has to be making that run. That was a good idea, you have to say, because a run towards that side, and there were a couple of orange shirts in the box for a cross. It just tells you that the players are not on the same wavelength, and that's what's hurting the defense as well. The lack of chemistry between these players. A loose touch, not what you need when you're 1-0 up. Just need to keep your concentration up. Approaching the half an hour break. There will be a little cooling break. Let me remind you and let me give you a short story of what we have seen so far in the Super Division Football League clash between the defending champions Agniputra and the runner ups Kickstart from the previous season. We can clearly see how this season transpired for both sides. Agniputra started the game on front foot, had a couple of chances, but Kabir Tawfiq excellent sweep saved the day for Kickstart early on before they put pressure and took the lead with an absolute beauty of a goal from 30 yards out. And after that, Agniputhra clearly rattled, unable to string even a couple of passes together. It looks like it's going to be a long season for the defending champs, who are closer to the bottom of the table than they are to the top half. And I will not even consider speaking about the top spots because that is where Kickstart are. They'll move on to 26 points as things stand. 8 wins and 2 draws after 10 games. Still a game in hand over FC Bengaluru United, who are on top with 29 points. The goal difference will certainly matter to Kickstart if they keep on winning games and hope to catch Bengaluru out. They are making constant inroads towards the opposition box, but the clinicality, that final pass, has been missing. The too dependent on the wing play coming from Crispin. It is going to be a free kick, a dangerous position. A good opportunity to test the goalkeeper. Well, has a fair bit of goal to aim for. He does go for goal, but that ends up being a cross that was booted into the stratosphere, nowhere close to hurting the goalkeeper, Kabir. Put decent pace on it. The height was great as well, but the connection has to be better than that. Kickstart and in no hurry to restart the game. With a lead under the belt, they will be happy to waste time. It is the responsibility of Agniputhra to speed things up. Jitu is happy to concede a throw in. A 1-0 lead is never safe. Kickstart cannot discount the quality that Agniputhra possess, even though they are in tatters at the moment. There is a bit of confusion. And there is a collision. Sam George was the leading contender for the duel, but the striker never gave up and went charging into the goalkeeper. Well, they do keep saying goalkeepers are the most protected players on the field. Well, I think it makes sense because they are the only ones allowed to go for the ball with everything. And a slight bit of contact with them will certainly result in fouls and free kicks. And most probably injuries because Sam George looks like he has suffered a terrible fall there. Now this has got to be the best opportunity for Agniputhra, because from set pieces they have showed that they can create something. The earlier free kick where they got a shot away, and this time an in swinging corner, decent whip on it, headed away once again. A chance for a reload. Look at the crowd on the far post. They're trying to crowd the goalkeeper out. The tactic is working. Well, we have seen Arsenal, the English Premier League club, trying to swarm the goalkeepers at the near post and get something. But this is a far post tactic, which is very interesting to see. I'm pretty sure this is Samuel Sylvester's doing. And once again, an in swinger towards the far post. That's a header. Will be yet another. Oh no, finally the streak of corners end. It is going to be a goal kick, says the referee. They're starting to ask better questions, be it from set pieces, but that intent to grab the equalizer is certainly there. The methods yet not clear. John Peter thumps one down the middle. Meet and drink for the centre backs. Well, I think both sides are trying to, bypass the midfield and absolutely pepper it towards the center and flanks in the hope of finding someone and something sticking. Well, when you have so much quality in the middle of the park, the talents are being wasted by playing passes like these. There is a better chance to go for goal, but the defender saving the day yet again. Here is Abiang, still on the ball. Skipper Karthik showing his footwork there, neatly getting away, and that's a superb pass against the fullback who wins the challenge. A crispy tackle from G2. Now trying to find the striker who was too static there. Have to be on your toes when you're playing the role of a target man, just waiting for the ball to come to your feet. Just invites the defenders to steal the ball away just like that. On the left flank, Agniputhra. It's the tame surrendering of possession. Kickstart are finding it way too easy at the moment to toy around with Agniputhra. They're not offering any kind of threat from open play. Yes, the set pieces, they're asking questions, but it has to be there from open play, yeah, as well. And it could be two, and it is two. Kickstart FC double their advantage before the break. What a lovely goal that is. A delightful ball over the top. The goalkeeper, Sam George, coming out, but the striker showing the greatest composure to calmly side foot the goalkeeper and then thump it into an empty net. Kickstart value for the lead, doubling it, heading into the final 5 minutes of the first half, and slowly, step by step, they're pulling away from Agniputhra. I think there's a lot of trauma they got from the final season, from the previous season, losing the league in the last 30 seconds. This is some sort of redemption for them to trash their opponents when they are at their lowest. and move towards the title spots. I'm pretty sure they will not be satisfied with 2 goals, and errors like this might just play into their hands more. Is there time for another goal in this half? Crispin once again cannot get involved as his fullback, who has been breathing down his neck all game long, gets there first yet again. A corner for Agniputhra. Back with live action yet again. And in swinger, watch out for the far post routine. I'm growing quite fond of this one. This time, going to be a goal kick. I think the set piece coach will be a happy man if they can convert one of these, because the ideas are there, the execution is a bit lacking. Kickstart FC started the game slowly. They didn't need to be the aggressors. They bide their time, they waited for a chance, and then one beautiful finish from outside the box opened the scoring. Agniputhra, after a good start, faded away. They're almost toothless in attack, you have to say, offering no threat whatsoever going forward, except for winning an odd corner. Then again, defensively, they put themselves in trouble, allowing Kickstart to double their advantage. Here is Jitu. Gets tackled tamely, but Crispin cannot get away from his ex-captain. Karthik, so casually, pinches the ball away from a winger whom he used to release on a weekly basis. And that is going to be a free kick for Kickstart, because the bites and the bite backs are coming. In a clash of this magnitude, you certainly expect it though, as we approach the added time of the first half. Can Kickstart kill the game before we head to the break? It's going to be 2 minutes of added time. And a free kick for them. Abe Young hovers it towards the box. Trying to form a left triangle, but they cannot keep the ball even for a couple of minutes of sustained pressure. Kickstart on the break. Can they finish off this sweeping move? Abyang on an underlapping run. Under pressure from Crispin, who wins the ball back fairly. I think he has had enough of waiting for the ball and almost never receiving it. Look at him glide through the field. Wants the return pass, but there is a free kick to Agniputhra. A bit of intensity in the final minute of stoppage time of first half. I think this is what we'd love to see from the defending champions, to see them try at the very least to keep punching, to keep asking those hard questions with intensity. There's a chance. Crispin going for goal. Headed clear by the defender for a corner. We got time. We certainly got time. Now things are getting interesting. A goal with an attack here would split the game wide open. There is the cross. That's a tame one. That's a tame one. You have to say Kabir Tawfik would be thanking his fortunes as he goes down to the ground, knowing that the first half is done and dusted as soon as he launches the ball ahead. And that will be it. The first half action comes to a close. Kickstart FC, I think I can say barely they broke a sweat. They have been dominant. They have been patient at times. They haven't even gotten out of their second gear, but have a comfortable 2-0 lead as they head into the tunnel for the break. Agniputra's hard and long season is taking an even darker turn as they concede tamely twice and offer very little going forward. The Warriors and the defending champions are struggling. Can they flip the script somehow in the second half? We will find out very shortly. At halftime, it is Kickstart 2, Agniputhra 0. Welcome back to the second half action. Agniputhra, this is a huge half for them. Their season could potentially hinge on how this half goes. Fairly simple. Get 3 goals, win the game, and do not concede another. And if they do, it will be a long road back. They can forget about the championship. Kickstart. Meanwhile, they can use this incredible half to pile more misery on the defending champions for the hurt that they have endured last season, the heartbreak of losing the league in final minutes. FC Bengaluru United will be watching this game keenly. They will be interested in learning the result. They'll be hoping for Agniputra to clinch something out of this game because Kickstart are giving them a run for their money. And especially if Agniputra continue this door performances, where do you think they will be when the I League 3 rolls into town? Because they will be pitted against the nation's best, not just from Karnataka and Bengaluru. The standard is nowhere near enough to be competing in I League 3 when the season comes around. Now trying to slice it through the center. Kickstart, it has become all too easy for them to keep winning the ball back because Agniputra are failing to hold it for a sustained period of time. Here they are. They need something better, some imagination. It has to be central play, a flick on towards the striker, but the defender covers the channel well. Running circles around the defenders, trying to slice the defense. The striker will get there, takes a tumble, and it has got to be a free kick. Now that is some inspiration. One long ball through the center, allowing the winger to run the channels and win a free kick. Corner kicks have tested them. How about this free kick? Agniputra need a response and fast. That is a flat delivery, not too much height on it. An ambitious overhead kick, easily repelled by the defense. They can relaunch an attack all the way back from Sam George. Flag goes up for an offside. The last thing Agniputra wanted now. Now, one more chance materializing for them. Suddenly, the central long balls are helping their cause. It is Kabir Tawfiq with yet another important sweep of his line. Well, you have to remember the sweep he did in the first half. The striker was almost about to run clean through on goal. He came out, just at the ball away, and then walked almost into the midfield with it. And even on this occasion, he is the favorite to win that. Kickstart searching for that all important third goal. A goal now would certainly kill the contest, and then all their focus would turn to improving the goal difference. But let me not jinx them into conceding one here. Here is a chance for Agniputhra, cutting onto his left foot, goes for goal. Kabir makes a fine save there, parries it into his defenders. Well, this is some start from Agniputhra. A lot of positives to build on. Here they come once again down the right flank. Deflection will win them something. Well, you have to say, Sam George has conceded 2 goals but is yet to make a serious save outside of those goals. Meanwhile, Kabir Tawfiq has saved the day 4 or 5 times with his sweeps and saves without conceding a goal. He is the more worked of the two keepers. Kickstart have certainly realized there is more of resistance coming in from Agniputhra. They're trying to slow things down and pass it amongst their back line instead of going out all gung ho. And now that's the thing with momentum. They're winning the tackles nonchalantly and coming forward with ease. If Agniputra can cap off this spell with a goal, it will be an open game yet again. And there is a chance for a header. Off target. Kabir will be happy with that. A goal kick for him to take. That was not ideal in the situation, taking a risky long ball, but it does come their way. Spread down the left flank. Now that is some great footwork, getting away from the midfield pressure, but unable to find that pass, which could have topped off a great move. Slowly, as the time trickles towards the hour mark, coaches will turn to their benches. It's safe to say, Kickstarter 2 goals up for good without their starman Munish, who has made 7 assists and scored a goal this season. Just imagine how much threatening they would be with Monish in the ranks. Now there goes the long ball, but Agniputhra winning the ball back with ease. A chance to cross it, but the fullback walks across, shows incredible resilience to set his side up on the break. A loose pass, an absolutely loose pass. Try to scoop it towards the wing to find his winger. Kickstarter just playing themselves into trouble. Unnecessary, I have to say, giving the ball away like that, and now they have to defend this throw in. Intent is fine for now, but going ahead, they need a goal. They need something tangible to show for it. But once again, Kabir Tawfiq makes the save. He's safe as houses when it comes to this. Sam George happy to scoop up the goals. Kickstart FC giving the ball away in haste. I don't understand what's the hurry for them to find this third goal. It's a cliched saying that always goes 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in football. And by the way the things are going, it might just get proven right once again today. Because Kickstart are anything but comfortable right now. Under pressure from Agniputhra. Slicing on his right. Forces a save. Forces a reaction from Kabir at the least, you have to say. The goalkeeper was diving and stretching. They have a goal back now. Well, this is what I was telling. A goal at the end of it all. Kickstart unnecessarily playing themselves into trouble, giving all the momentum in the world to Agniputra by conceding. And the Warriors, the defending champions, this is who they were the previous season, and this is who they could be. If they lock in for the next half an hour or so, we got a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere. Buckle in for the last 30 minutes. And I think the first thing Agniputra, beg your pardon, the first thing Kickstart needs to do is cherish the ball. Stop giving it away for no reason at all. Stop lumping it forward. And just like that, The Warriors have a free kick in the opposition territory. They have been good with set pieces, you must say. Can they use one more to restore parity? An equalizer now would actually send terrible doubts into the minds of Kickstart players. I think that's what the captain is urging. Karthik Govindswamy asking his players to be calm, to calm down, and just defend the next action instead of thinking about the result. That's what's been lacking. I think at 2-0 down, you cannot wait. You cannot keep lumping the ball forward and hope for the clock to run to 90. Can you? The referee not happy with the disruption, waiting for the things to flow again, and there is being a substitution being made. Well, something else on his mind as well. A card being shown, first of the day perhaps. And finally, we'll have Gautam take this free kick. There are only three on the edge of the box. Interesting. I thought they'd pack the box with more numbers. But watch out for the late runners. There goes the arcing in swinger. Well met by the defense. But Agniputhra relaunch it forward. Into the box once again. And now a break on the cards for Kickstart. It is a 2 versus 1. And a goal could seal it, and it does seal it. Well, Agniputra's wave of momentum did not last for long. Kickstart go flying down the other way and make it 3-1 again to restore their 2-goal advantage. Well, that was something that was not on the script. Agniputra putting more and more pressure to push it towards being 2-2. But Kickstart use a free kick from Agniputra, turn the ball over, go flying down the other wing, and strike a dagger into the heart of the opposition. What a beautiful flowing counter that was. And the finish at the end of it, absolutely supreme into the high center of the net, giving goalkeeper no chance, absolutely. A brief period of chaos. 15 minutes after the halftime whistle, beg your pardon, 15 minutes after the restart of the second half, Agniputra looked like they were sailing. They had that confidence that they could get something from the game. They got a first goal, and now there could be further damage towards the byline. Sends it in. Still a chance, but it does go away. I think the spirits would be shattered right after making it 1-2. The thoughts would be on making it 2-2, but the dagger from Kickstart was too good to ignore. And here they could make it 4, but the block preventing it from happening. Now Kickstart heading into the final quarter. A corner for themselves has been a rarity. All the set pieces, a majority of the set pieces, you have to say, have come from Agniputhra. They're taking it short. Try to be cheeky. Try to let the ball roll past him and fool the defender. But he was not in the mood to get sold today. Now some chaos in the box for Agniputra. They're still not giving up. They're still going on. They believe that they could get something out of this game. This is the kind of spirit you'd love to see. But sadly, we have to say that might not be enough for them to turn around their season. Here is another set piece. Trying to go the short route. There is a man stationed there. But of course, you'd expect him to run inside the box, trying to dummy the opponents. That's a decent delivery, but the header was won by the defense. An injury concern in the box. Flicked on. Another chance to break for Kickstart, but this time Agniputra win the ball back hungrily. That's a lovely cross, square towards the center. Defender is there to beat it away. What a pass that was. Swinging towards the unmarked man. He just could have taken a touch, perhaps. I don't think he was under any sort of pressure. A touch, maybe, and then square it to someone inside. Orange shirts flocking forward. Need a better delivery inside. Into the final 20 minutes. Trying to knock it towards the goal. There will be a corner at the end of it. Agniputra still knocking on the door. This one's hit with a lot of power. And Kickstart are happy to get it as far away from their goal as possible. And there is a breaking opportunity. It's a 2v2. The support coming from the right side. A very good decoy run on the left as well. Here they are, but that move comes to nothing. And ultimately, it ends up with a goal kick. Agniputra can break a sigh of relief, but you can see how vulnerable they are on the break. They're trying to pour bodies forward, trying to get something out of this game, but it's costing them at the back. Kickstart are flying forward on breaks. From this corner, it'll only go towards the edge of the box. Finding it down the left flank. Crispin cannot have a moment's peace. He's being closed down from all angles. He safely shepherded it out for a goal kick. Can he beat his man and send the delivery in? Into the final quarter of an hour. Showing some great footwork. He goes down in the hope of getting a penalty, but the referee says nothing doing. A couple of substitutions for Kickstart. I think it's a matter of seeing the game out closely now. without conceding any more chances to get some fresh legs in defense and attack. The pristine Bengaluru skyline with heavens opening up and the winter haze setting in. Picture perfect location as the players convene for a water break as we head into the final few minutes of the game. Trying to find the finishing touches. Kickstart. One player becomes too many for him. Fires it down the left wing, but the defender reads the trajectory to perfection and he gets support. The defense will keep it alive. They're stepping up. I think it's a lot late. We have seen stranger things happen. We have seen goals scored in like 5 minutes, but in this 10-minute spell, can they find a couple to at least walk out of this place with a point to their name? Down the touchline, he tried to show his skill there. That was decent enough, you have to say. Try to just flick it, get it ahead, and then use his blistering pace to beat the defender. Almost nails it there. Agniputhra still probing and questioning, but that incisiveness to break down the disciplined kickstart defense is simply not there. Just seeing the game out with ease. That brief 15-minute spell where they got a goal when it was 2-1, all sorts of scenarios were running on the minds of Kickstart's players. And even Agniputra had a corner and a free kick to make it 2-2, but it was after that moment that the game switched. And here we might be on the brink of some action yet again. A tough header for him to keep it in. But look at that. One orange shirt going against a sea of green ones. When they are chasing the game in the 82nd minute, the support has to be simply better than that. Samuel Sylvester's man on the brink of yet another defeat, and it could get worse. There is a break, but the pass a bit heavy. Chance for the keeper to come out, but well, that was risky, you have to say. But ultimately, they do end up saving the day. Some pace from Jitu to show for it. There come the late give and goes. He did not surely mean that touch, did he? Probably tried to take it into his stride, ends up lofting the ball into the opposition. Well, sums up the story. That really sums up the story of Agniputhra this season, this game, whatever you want to call it. It was a simple pass down the wing to be played into the winger's feet, but look at the power he put on it. The players are getting the basics wrong. It's back to the drawing room for the coach to find out something, to find out the right setup, to find out the right personnel who could get him the results. Because once I League rolls up, this quantity will be brutally exposed on the national stage, and you don't want that to happen. Kickstart, meanwhile, can take a lot of heart from this performance. What a day it has been from them to banish the ghosts of the previous season, to mount another fresh title challenge, win the game in hand, and they go level on points with FC Bengaluru United. Sliding away from pressure. I think they've displayed brilliance in flashes here and there. Here is one more chance, gets taken down. That should be a free kick and perhaps an even yellow card. That's an easy decision for the referee. Absolutely needless tackle. He was just coming onto his left foot, could have unleashed a shot. There were a lot of bodies in the box to block that, and even the goalkeeper decides to take a yellow there. Now the keeper intervenes. Chance to send one more cross. Now wasting no time. Look at the distance he's gone out. It's going to be an epic long throw. Easy for the defender to clear his lines. A sliding tackle saves the day. That's a good toe poke. And now here is a chance for a fast break. 2 versus 2. Well, for some reason, decides to wait for support. That just gives breathing room for Agniputra's defense to recover. That should be an easy catch for the goalkeeper. Well, that could pretty much be it. Settle for the result. Both sides know their fate now. And I don't think Kickstart are in a position to waste any more energy on this result. They've stopped going for the fourth goal. They are content with this 3-1 scoreline. It is Agniputhra trying to make things happen even in the final minute. An overhead clearance, well, two overhead clearances. Passing it safely to Sam George. That's another decent ball, but this time Kabir Tofik is there. He has always been there today. I think he'd be gutted with the goal he conceded. He had otherwise a great game. Beat the saves, beat the sweeps. He was on top of every action except for the one goal he conceded. He had a deserved clean sheet snatched away from him today. 6 minutes of added time. Well, I think Agniputra, even if they managed to get one before the 90th minute, they had enough time to push for an equalizer now. But as things stand, that might just be everything. The hard questions need to be asked. They have changed the coach, they have brought in a new coach with plenty of experience. Let me remind you, Samuel Sylvester is someone who has had an A license coaching from OFC, has already coached Bengaluru United in I League 2, I League 3. He has got a plenty of experience under his belt. So he's at the helm now. If he cannot change, if he cannot bring the new manager bounce, what is going to help this side turn it around this season? Is it the players taking responsibility? Is it the coaching system that's failing them? Because Agniputra right now look like a shadow of themselves, of a team that steamrolled the league twice to lift the trophies. Kickstart, meanwhile, a stable base. Let me remind you, missed their key playmaker today, Monish, but still no complaints. Rakesh Singh, who has been amongst the goals for Golden Boots, scored two today, and two brilliant goals at that as well to be the difference maker. That is what happens when stars perform irrespective of the conditions. That's a good cross. That's a decent cross, you have to say. Headed behind for a corner. Shift towards the far post where they'll get another corner. And this time, Kabir makes the safe claim. Happy to throw it around. You could feel the tiredness all the way here. The players aren't backtracking as actively. They've resigned to this result. And outside of the boot pass finds the striker. Spreading down the right flank. Into the box now. Can he test the goalkeeper? Cuts on. And did it take a deflection? It looks like it did. But no, says the referee. Well, ends up as a poor effort. I thought he could have done better than that. Open his body, curl it towards the far post. Trying to battle it out on the right flank. Still, it's Agniputhra pushing for a late goal. At least that acts as a consolation now. But Kickstart are not going to give away something that they have built with so much of care. Now that's a lovely move. Needs a good square pass. The defense blocks it. Final minute of the added time. Tussle in the box. The referee closely monitoring the situation. There could be a penalty anywhere around that. But he's happy with how things have played out. Can he get there on the end of it? But that's a good sliding tackle. It could have been 1v1 had he not gotten there. Is there time for one final attack? No, says the referee. The Kickstart players know the value of this win. A huge win, a massive win against the defending champions. Of course, they're not at their best, but it still counts all the same. It is Kickstart 3, FC Agniputhra 1. A massive victory for them as they continue their march towards the top. With a game in hand, they're on to 26 points, just 3 behind FC Bengaluru United. 8 wins for them, 2 draws, still without a defeat this season. 21 goals scored, just 6 conceded. What a result this is for Kickstart. The performance, you could say that they didn't break much sweat today. They were just in the second gear. The level of their opposition, who are merely a shadow of what they were from the previous season, helped their cause today. Agniputra's season is just spiraling into free fall. Fifth defeat in 10 games. It's actually incredible that the team that's so used to winning lost 50% of their games this season. The new coach, Samuel Sylvester, the new manager bounce is simply not there for his men. With the Indian calendar setting soon, the I League 3 will be here and FC Agniputra have to turn things around. But as of now, the full-time score is Kickstart FC 3, FC Agniputra 1. It's been a pleasure.